The next day he came back and he was like complaining about the drawing, and I'm like, well, you don't like it? He said, well, I don't think my girlfriend looks like this. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, dude. If you want a refund, you're going to have to wait for my dog to take a shit then, because that's where that went. Anyway, it's time to rant. Rantpage. Hello, everyone. This is Jarcy. Well, after a few years of vacillating on my decision, I finally did it. I am finally taking part in a 30,000 year human tradition of raising a puppy. Took me a while, but when I met this little girl, I just couldn't say no. And it's been an interesting journey ever since. So I got Bassie at the state fair, and when I met her in the kennel, I do this test where I put my hand out and I let them sniff me, and she was the only one that came up to me out of the bunch of them, and she attached herself to me immediately. She kept following me around wherever I went. I moved to another side of the kennel and she would follow me, and she would be just lovable the whole time, where the other ones were kind of skittish. And one of the other people saw this happening and they're like, you know what that means? So I was like, well, guess you're coming home with me. And to adopt her, it was like $350. I can't remember, but it was worth it. So the next day I went out to check out. They had new puppies every day, and this time they had poodles. $1,000 each of them were to adopt, and I did the same hand test, and both of them came up. They sniffed my hand, and I'm not even bullshitting you. They kind of grimaced and recoiled from me, and I was like, oh, you smell the trailer park on me, don't you? You really are $1,000 dogs. A few days later, I found out I wasn't the only one who got a puppy at that show. Apparently, everyone got a puppy at that show, and a few of the bosses at this carnival I'm working for, they were complaining that now everyone's got a fucking dog. And what I thought was interesting is that at that particular show a few years ago, whoever they were hiring at the time, they were, as soon as they got time off, they were doing some kind of whatever they wanted to do, and they overdosed, and an ambulance was called. It happened so frequently that I made a joke about it with my friend the one day. My friend was like, what are they all doing? I'm like, I don't know, probably looking to overdose on some bullshit. And as soon as I made that joke, an ambulance came around the corner, and sure enough, that's what happened. So when dude said that, my immediate response is, well, too many puppies is way better than an overdose. I don't think the boss really appreciated that joke too much. Now, I will say that it's quite a challenge raising a puppy and running a carnival operation, as I do in life, especially when you're surrounded by people that don't know their boundaries. For example, when people see a puppy, they cannot help themselves. They have to run up, touch, 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 touch. Even if you're drawing, they run in front of through your stand, in front of your easel, between you and the customer, and just dive right in to pet the dog, which normally wouldn't be a problem if you ask and go around at least. But people get weird. It's like they think that since they're at a carnival and you got a pet at your stand, even though you're securing her in the back, either with a leash or with a cage, they just feel entitled to come up and pet your damn dog without permission, like they're at a fucking portable or mobile petting zoo, which Even when there is a petting zoo at the fair, you have to pay to come in to pet the damn animals. Like, at least give me $1. I mean, I'm just kidding. But I had this one gentleman. He was a nice guy. I don't want to be too rude. He was a nice guy, but he was a little bit extra. Him and his husband were waiting in line to get a caricature, and this particular person did not like standing in the heat because the sun was beating down on him, which I get, I understand. And he went running into my tent, once again running across where I was drawing my customers, running in my way. And then he was back there, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I need some shade." I'm like, "I understand." But then he saw my dog, and he went down there and just started petting away at my dog. No permission, just fucking going for it. And Bassie is a friendly pup. She likes everybody. It's both a pro and a con because she wants everyone's attention. When I'm trying to teach her with the leash and going for a walk, she's all good. I even got her without the leash now. She carries it in her mouth and it's not attached to her neck. But as soon as there's a person around, it's like, oh, attention. And everything she's doing really well, it's just like different frequency all of a sudden. Like, you fucked up her vibration, man. Anyways, so this guy's petting away, and then he keeps calling her him. You're a good boy. And I'm like, it's a girl, sir. You know, a she, her. See, I thought it'd be polite to speak in his language. But he looks down at the dog. I'm not even bullshitting. Grabs her leg, opens it, puts his head between her legs, comes back up again, smiling, and goes, I didn't think to look. I'm like, well, you didn't have to look. I told you. You didn't have to fucking open her back door and dive in like a goddamn gynecologist. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Yeah. So we're teaching her how to live in the house, walk on the leash. She's learning some commands pretty damn quick, I would say. She knows what her bed is. And she now knows, what is the other thing she learned? She's learning how to walk without the leash. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. Oh, I'm teaching her because when I first got her, she was savage as fuck about the food. It's like they weren't feeding her well at the adoption center where they were keeping them. She was savage as fuck, and that was the first thing I was like, we gotta work on that. And now I got video of me, like, after a few days of me, like, I pour her food, put it in front of her and say, stay. She fight me. Now she's staying until I say go, and then she goes and gets her food. So we're working on that too. Now there is some downsides. For example, I work in the carnival business again. I draw caricatures. I have a caricature operation, and sometimes I hire people, and we all stay in the same house because I have to drive. I have to pull everything, so it doesn't make sense to have an extra house or bunkhouse, especially when the carnival doesn't always have room for it, which is what these people don't fucking understand. There's limited room, and I got to pay for each house. So we all share the house. There's plenty of room. I've got 2 RVs, one small, one big. And this one particular artist that I told early in the year that I was going to get a dog, and this particular person encouraged it, said it would be good for me, and I agreed. And so far, it is really good for me. I've been working out more. I'm drinking a lot less. Mostly because I don't have time, because I don't want to wake up 5 in the morning to take the dog out with a hangover. It'd be a fucking terrible idea. And, I'm getting up earlier because of her. But this person called me up and gave me shit like, are we all going to be in the same house? Am I going to have to worry about my stuff? And are you going to get the big house? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get the big house. And I'm like, are you sure? And that's it. I'm done with this. I'm tired of these people talking to me like I'm an idiot. I'm on the road all the time, and personally, some of these people divulge a lot of information I don't need to know about them, like being all out and proud about being a communist. If that's your thing, you should just keep it to yourself. Because honestly, when you say shit like that in a crowded room, most of the people in the room are low key rolling their eyes, because it it it's not charming. It's really just like a cry for attention. Like it's bullshit. Like, you live in America, you live in a capitalist system, you're gonna have to fucking deal with it and grow with it. Or like, I mean, I don't even know what the fucking big deal is, honestly, because every time we get into these debates, they're like, everything, we need radical change in this country, this and that. And I'm like, okay, if it's so radical, give me one example of what you want to change, and it's just blank. Like, well, we need to educate people. Like, that's not an example of what you want to do. That's what, I mean, it's not a plan, a strategy. That is just, you're saying things, but you're not offering solutions. Like, how are we going to fix this system? Give me one example. And everybody is always like, just babble. Like, I mean, so far, this is off the subject, but America does operate with some socialism standards. Like, there's a lot about America that we do that's like socialism, but it's good. Like 401k and shit like that. Like the Obamacare, like, or whatever you call it now. But I digress. Like, America is your best bet. It's not that you need to dismantle the entire system. You need to work to fix it, and we need more people to be in politics and voting and fucking working. I mean, if you really take that seriously, you need to work at getting in the right people's ear about it. And don't get frustrated when, there needs to be some kind of incentive to pursue these things. Like, you can't be like, we gotta dismantle everything and go completely green, clean energy, and then don't have any plans on how you're gonna do that, where it's gonna make the other party that's involved, that really wants to help, money. Because, like, in the end, like, I'm sorry, that's the system we live in. For example, if you take the carnival and try to make it completely green, it would cost a fucking fortune. And it's impossible because the batteries don't exist. We have to run on fuel 24/7, nonstop. It's not going to happen that easily. I do believe, like, we could do something like super trains. I've been saying that for years. I wish we would build the super trains, because these city folk that don't really need cars, but still need cars for certain things they need to do, but would rather not have them. We develop super trains, and super trains would increase the job market too. There'd be a lot of jobs for people to pursue. That's one thing. We got to figure out a recycling system, because a lot of the recycling just causes more pollution. We got to figure out the meat problem too, because the way we process meat causes a lot of pollution. But again, I'm also not offering any solutions, because I really personally don't fucking care anymore. I've gotten to the point where I use electric to record this shit, to make my comic book, to, pay my taxes. I use electric for everything. I use computers for everything. My car is half a computer these days. Like, I need power in the way I live. I mean, if it went, I'm sure it'd survive. And I'm sure my new dog would help me, but it would suck. I do like having a Nintendo Switch every now and then when I'm bored. But I digress on that. Anyways, so got a dog. It feels like I'm tapping into my ancestor. Like, it's an ancient practice. It's, from what I understand, it's one of the very first animals we humans have ever learned to domesticate, way before horses, before cats. I think even like at the dawn, almost before agriculture, before civilization as we know it today, we were domesticating dogs, and I'm proud to be a part of that, and I really feel it when I'm working with Bassie because you could feel the bond growing. And one interesting thing about this bond between man and beast is that you know friends can come and go, relationships, girlfriends, boyfriends, they can come and go. But when you have a solid bond with your dog, that dog loves you unconditionally forever. And she's always got your back. The other day, I unraveled a 30 amp cable and she started attacking it, which I believe she attacked it because she thought it was a snake and she was trying to protect me already at 6 weeks old. She knows that she needs to protect me when I'm not looking. And that's a good dog, in my opinion. But I had this other guy at work. He was a vendor, and he wanted to barter on a Saturday. Now, normally on Saturdays, I do not barter because it's a busy day, and I mean, most of the time it's not reciprocal. Like, I'll draw them a $60 drawing, and they'll give me a $10 plate of food. And that's exactly what happened. I drew this dude. He promised me all this good food and all this chicken, homemade chicken, or whatever. I don't know. It sounded good. And he just wanted him drawn. But then when he came back with the pictures, he wanted him and his girlfriend and his parents drawn. And he wanted it all in color. That's about $100 right there. And I already said yes, so I was like, "Fuck it, let's just get this over with." It was a little slow that day. I drew the pictures, and then he brought back the plate. It was a very small plate of food that contained what I assumed was, at best, cold, shittiest portions of Walmart deli I've ever seen. I couldn't even eat it. And I couldn't eat it because he didn't bring me a fork. I literally couldn't eat it. So when he was gone, I just took off the scant pieces of chicken and fed it to my dog. And, the next day he came back and he was like complaining about the drawing. And I'm like, "Well, you don't like it?" He said, "Well, I don't think my girlfriend looks like this." And I was like, "Well, I'm sorry, dude. If you want a refund, you're going to have to wait for my dog to take a shit then because that's where that went." Anyway. And back to the story of the one particular artist that works for me that doesn't want to work for me anymore because I made this decision about getting a dog. You know, there are some things, again, that you shouldn't just tell everyone. Like, you know, if you despise pets so much that you actually go around bragging about how you were overjoyed that someone's cat died. I don't care what the story is. You might be a bad person. If you say that same thing about your grandmother passing away, again, I don't care what the story is. You might be a bad person. My grandfather on my mom's side was not very good. I'm not going to go into details of what he did to my mom growing up. But he was a shitbag. I never liked him. But when he died, I did not celebrate his death. I still celebrated his life. Because, death is something that happens to everyone, but it's not something to be like, "Yes, glad that person's dead or that dog is dead. Fucking annoyed me. Now my life is going to be better." But it's not. If you have it in you to hate somebody's pet so much that when they pass away, you celebrate it, there might be something wrong with you and not the world around you. Or maybe you're just jealous because you never experienced such love as the one that you saw between that person and their pet. A bond tighter than anything you have ever known. And you hate it. But yeah, if you are dealing with anything, struggling with depression, struggling with anything, I really do recommend you consider taking in a pet, because she's been helping me a lot, even through the hard times of her like pooping in the house and whatnot. Like she's still there. She's that's a good dog, and I highly recommend you going to get yourself a happy pup in your life, because I think dogs make everything better. Unpopular opinion: the new Superman movie is only doing good right now because they have a fucking flying dog in it. You can't beat a flying dog in the box office. There, I said it. In fact, I believe the only way you can possibly beat a flying dog in the box office is if James Cameron made a movie about space whales with money juice in their heads, and then continued to make several more sequels to it, because somehow that guy has the magic touch when it comes to putting money in the box office. But other than that, get a dog, because it'll help you sell your fucking movie, which is your life. Just slap it like it. You got a wound in your life, you fucking take a dog, you slap that dog in your life. Well, don't slap a dog, but you know what I mean. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyways, the dog is a good band-aid. That's what I meant to say. Anyhow, thanks for listening. Good night.